Bear's eyes are dead. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it.
You're right.
Always has to be the skeptic, this man. It's dark.
What are you doing? Wait, really? You should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
It's dark.
What are you doing? Wait, really? Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
A lush lake. You feel the spirit of Ramut Kara. 3 danger.
What? What are you doing? Please wipe your...
No, you're a proud warrior. These 3 stripes give you strength in this day.
And this protects you. Okay, sure. Go ahead.
A hollow ring goes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw. No, it's many years of combined self-neglect and all you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all do. It gets... thick layer of coal, a lush lake. You feel the spirit. 3 days.
What? Please wipe your...
No, you're a proud. These 3 stripes.
And this protects you. Okay, sure. Go ahead. You're right. The rooms do look like they're connected.
Always has to be the skeptic, this man. Only the black cable is plugged into the breaker box, while the red one lies neglected on the floor. You just out of the rain and into the gutter.
Math. Oh, I found some. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Yes, I bet it looks good on you. Really serious. Right, I have to get back.
Yes?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
But...
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until...
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits? Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists, and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the ward's help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building. Even though now I fear it's not enough. Yes, the Simonese are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't... Oh, this! No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example.
Desert pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people.
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous.
Wow. Void raves. You have... Kim also tries not to look at them.
No problem of it.
This fan or has it been consigned there as punishment? You feel as though this creature is your friend. The tear machine stands in. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying.
Promising raise pupil returns.
And
Everyone can see that.
Baby, don't be mean.
Anything for you, babe. Look, babe. The rich man has humiliated and emasculated this couple. He can only think in base materialist.
Rich man really fucked him over?
His rage is already played out on the stage of history as the grotesque tragedy of revolution. All it can accomplish, impotent class warrior. I take pity on you. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad, like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It will open it very well. You may enter the door once.
Finally.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to...
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Couron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, remember Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably, the head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd. What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Booze? Blood? Remember, Leo, Everard's all items on the list have been crossed out. The drawer slides shut. It's just a racist mug, but it will not happen. The mug. The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments. Kunst und Comrade. As you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal alla fume. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist, but like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassurance. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and
What do you expect? It was laying around the office.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messine. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You flip back to the front of the magazine. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the political. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the so all of it, basically. Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one, and thus the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise, at the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, that's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry. The whole point of these sorts of articles...
Ah, come on. Can this article read your mind? A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secrets. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring you skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous. You flip back to the front of the magazine. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change." Tarpaulin cloak is still hanging. As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost... I will shield you from the elements and give my life for you. All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone parted.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. I am, but it does...
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud.
If you must. But please hurry, we are pretty easy.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table.
Let's get going. The entire neighborhood can see us up here.
This is
If you must.
nothing. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René, looks like he's about to smile. This photo,
Why did you take that picture of René? You're really interested in that old soldier. Not sure I understand your fascination, but sure.
a rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Allumé, on, éteindre, off. With a surprisingly quiet, this crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. Who can say? Or
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action.
before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
Is this like your thing with that wall again? You do? There are 1 million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? You just picked one out because you wanted to interact with a... We're not here to interact with containers.
To know of it, to your left, the lieutenant considers your actions. No reply. The lyrics to this container song are being made up. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi. From the look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of.
Oh yes, born and raised in Arish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then. Too old to lose my act. People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No sir, those...
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes I am, yes I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them. Sure, mister. About what? Bye-bye now. No trouble at all, mister. Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here.
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers.
Sure is, mister.
I had to break this bonding bond.
trouble at all, mister. Oh, I'm just making some covers for the...
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers as you glance around with similar childlike wonder.
Sure is, mister. Sure is. Really...
I had to break this bonding moment, but the red containers mean they are replacing the company livery with the union livery, which means this strike isn't gonna stop anytime soon.
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha!
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so. Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's you. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr.
Don't go all bad cop on this simple, friendly fellow.
I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's...
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Look at him. It's not going to be anything useful anyway. Don't fight it. Better to go with the flow.
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew up, but Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help. Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another fight with anyone after this. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real nice guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. I'm sure you'll be good friends.
You're never getting anything useful out of him. It's good enough you found out Everard has a brother called Edgar, and he helped.
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me, I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town. And Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and... But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy.
Stay on this Miss Beaufort topic.
Oh, Lizzie, she is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years.
He respects that word.
But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood. Knows...
For a fraction of a second, this...
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so. And she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years, she has.
Law school? Could she be talking about the union fixer, a.k.a. the gardener?
Looks like it.
I'm not sure what a fixer is, but she is a real nice girl. Smart as a whip, too.
Telling the gardener you know her name might throw her off. Perhaps something to consider later.
Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every... It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however,
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak well. Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir. Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of...
Told you.
Oh, you want Mr. Everard then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighbourhood. Guys like Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everard and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys. Oh, Mr. Everard is where he always is. In his office, of course.
Considers your actions. You attempt to your... With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here, and I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from...
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civil...
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. He's trying to throw you off your game with this Dubois nonsense. Don't give him the pleasure.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with it. Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until...
You're no Titan affiliation, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, And reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Hey, that's 25 real. That's good money.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Okay. I respect a man with principles. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we...
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost. When he said, don't worry, he actually meant, be very worried.
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
Officer, we will deal with this later.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Officer,
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
Mr. Dubois.
What is this Mr. Dubois he keeps repeating? What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
While Everard is distracted by your odd behavior, the lieutenant's eyes are mapping everything around you.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
Don't be dramatic. I can see her.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions.
It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in mask. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information.
Yes, that sounds good.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors.
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking us to break down someone's door, it's not going...
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked. A simple thing. Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and you can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker, too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
You might have noticed there's one hanging on a tree behind...
Oh my! Don't take this question personally, but...
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's safe to it. Besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate values. But of course, all joking aside, I am going to help you. Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in a tree problem they need... And, Jean, please take it easy with the race science. He's had enough of that. You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates, but you already knew that. Anyway, he's going to help you. My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them. Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch.
Smooth talking? Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up, Harry. I heard you have become Measurehead's race pupil. Of course, Harry, of course. You're not some kind of a fantastic... No one's gonna know what you did with race there, Harry. Your race bonanza is safe with me. Word of... Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information... Of course. Let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard.
That's what the hanged corpse called you. Harry.
My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction...
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean... See what his game is first.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble...
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. I guess word has already reached him. No.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost idea.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
It's Harry.
You feel like a Dubois, but you don't feel like a Harry. Strange.
Sure, okay. You're Harold. Harmon. Haroldamus. But that's not what the record says. The record says Harry Dubois. Mr. Kitsuragi doesn't seem even slightly empathetic to your memory loss, Harry. I, however, wish to help you any way I can. Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man, do you strike yourself as a That's why I like you, Harry. A good man knows both his strengths and his weaknesses, and you, my friend, you are one of the all-time greats. Well, Harry, if I were to sum you up in one word, it would be apologetic. Yes, you seem to be, a lot of the time, but right now there's no reason to be. Let loose a little. Be you. Ah, this, my friend.
This translates into...
I find that very suspicious.
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those brown folders you...
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau people are absolutely corrupt.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from...
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi, from the Census Bureau, like I said. Now I'm actually a very busy man, so is there anything else I can do for you?
That means he doesn't really know anything. A pity. The mystery of you.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter...
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady Brit. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't...
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man.
trouble at all, mister?
Has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly. Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Why are you what? Now is not the time to get philosophical.
Unpromising race. So it was. My unpromising race pupil entered the harbor and used my
You're so numb.
There's a but. That would mean you're openly showing the people that you're taking the Union's side.
Yes, that is precisely what it means.
This is the comfortable result of not taking it on ourselves. I can live with a compromise.
Listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may yet prove fierce competition to my heroic haplogroup. Fine. Goodbye. Return. Promise, babe. See that they stay here the whole time.
The woman's gaze follows.
So, you guys are like cops or something? Look at him. His craniometric perfection. Are you cops or what? Cool. I like men with guns and power.
You hear that? That sound.
Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it.
Look at ye. RCM rent a corpse. Guarding that bridge. Like Everett.
And who are you? What is your business here? Why are your clothes 4 sizes too small for you?
The man turns to look behind him at the behemoth appearing around the corner, approaching him, walking past him.
The corpse has been removed from the tree. Stand down and congratulate. And what you had to do was to become a unit.
The tear machine. Your bottles clunk into the machine.
You missed a...
You need to act decisively. It's Kuno. Use Kuno words.
Stop choking, Kuno!
Kuno's not fucking choking. Like fuck you did. Kuno's gonna keep saying Kipt forever now. Kip. Shit. The fuck did you want anyway? You got your fuck bag down. Now let's talk normal shit. Shoot that shit at Kuno, pig o' naught. Kuno doesn't fucking... Fuck does Kuno care? The fuck about it? Kuno doesn't give a shit about the armor. Kuno's fucking's got one big thing wrong. Look at him. Fucking growth hormone shit. He's a giant. The armor's... Kuno doesn't give a shit about that freak armor. Kuno threw that shit away. Kuno tried to get the helmet on. It was too big. Kuno kicked that shit in the sea, rugby style. That shit means nothing to Kuno. Yeah, that shit means nothing to Kuno. You wanna fuck on someone about that armor? Go fuck the mustached union fuck. The jolly troubadour shit at the gates. Yeah, cocking boot. You know that jolly union cow fucker? Came around talking about cows or some shit? Came around pretending like he...
Yes, you met him at the gates.
Yeah, he's the one you want to talk to. He's fucking crazy about that armor shit. Coming here for...
Curious, my liege. Why did Kuno feed you this information?
Yeah, Kuno's doing charity today. Kuno Day. Kuno...
Still, seems suspicious. He may have it in for that guy. Or you may be paranoid. That is also a possibility, sire.
Fuck are you talking about? What is this contusion?
He says you're stupid, Kuno. They want to make you stupid again.
Oh, get the fuck out of here calling Kuno stupid.
They're lost without you, Kuno.
Why don't you figure your shit out, you... Fuck are you talking about?
He says you're stupid, Kuno. They want to make you stupid.
Words are fucking shit. Make you stupid.
Has Kuno been to some kind of school? Probably a school for children with behavioral difficulties.
Watch out, Kuno.
Kuno doesn't give a shit about your handicap.
It's tough to tell, but he actually does. A little. He tilts his head to the right, reassessing you in the light of your badass learning disability.
Just a couple of pigs sniffing around.
Yeah, you...
Looks like you're a fagari now, whatever that means.
You're
Get lost.
Kuno does...
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene.
The fuck are they on about?
It's not about cutting. And no, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from autopsy to cleanup to social work. An honor and a burden attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able, usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. Mine is Lieutenant Detective. You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't. It's either this, or we complete the initial interviews. We already met Evrard, that only leaves the Wild Pines representative. There's one in town, negotiating the strike. She could have information.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Eprouille Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. You must have me confused with the Copperpedia. You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
Unfortunately, no. They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes. That's right.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol.
That's you. KK57.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Next. NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive skin, from the Isola of Muindi. This is...
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
We're still going with March 4th. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number. None. At least not after the initial.
A strange word. Treatment.
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
How did you not know that? Aren't you a cop? You're leaving a weak impression here. Say something sure-handed. A silent nod. The lieutenant places...
We should start the post-mortem. Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See?
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem.
Fucking low velocity! You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking shit about Kunos, but...
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp and chest. Consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the bell so we can get to the ligature mark. Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully.
See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
You are? You're Kuno's pig?
You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then... The lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid.
Yeah, fuck him!
Told you my pig was hard.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision.
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant.
No! I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active.
We have a real museum. Last item, hands. Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench... Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be? I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
Thank you for lightening his mood. It's hard down.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury-related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting
Yeah, Jack!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lip.
From here, it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming. The tendons of his jaw are torn apart. Hyoid ripped from the force of the lieutenant's hands.
Hepatobiliary, NA. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Neither am I. Same for toxicology and serology, NA. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 feels. Leave a 4th one too. Nothing. Just in case. Oh, so we inflicted them? Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it.
See? These pigs are fucking
Why don't you fuck 'em if you love...
Now, injuries. Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. And your opinion, officer? Agreed. Next injury? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. Right. Next. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark... That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
He's thinking, did I... I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen...
Do you think we missed...
You can't shake the feeling that there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. Hey, wasn't there a giant ice bear sarcophagus below that building? Now, detective, I've rarely been disappointed by the size of a giant ice bear fridge, but I think we should still take a look at it first. Make sure it's big enough before we carry him over. Let's move. With every hour, whatever we are looking for in the deceased will become harder to find.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. What do you think you are? A super detective? You're hungover. These are just dents in the mud. No pattern emerging. Heavy workers' boots with reinforced toes and hobnail. Isn't this something an industrial worker would wear? The trash containers. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong. You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. Cop habit. This isn't case-related, you think. Hard to say. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message, written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling in rags. This is point A. The driver started there. And then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager. The hole in this fence doesn't look that huge. He was exaggerating. People blame cops for everything that goes wrong in the world. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building, before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in...
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went. If you find the...
You are correct. This is a rather motor...
Somehow that makes you feel scared. You... The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge.
It's certainly an eccentric choice, but it's more than big enough and cold enough. Honestly, it's perfect. All we have to do is plug the fridge back.
Only the black cable is plugged into the breaker box. A giant electric mammal awakens. The dead body...
Great. The owners of this building will just have to keep paying for the electricity sucked up by this monstrosity a little longer. Let's return to the fridge.
Something close to you dies with a soft...
Why did you do that?
The bear's eyes are still glowing red.
Of course. I'll take the head. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. Beautiful. A dead body in a nice bare fridge. This is some of the best police work I've ever done. No, not really. Look at that. What have we done? We stuffed a dead body in an ice bear.
He means it. He doesn't want to be the ice bear cop.
Did we though? At least we've stopped the body from decomposing further. Now you can conduct another inspection, under controlled...
Your arms reach out and your eyes close. as if by their own volition. It's the thing you're looking for. It's not here either. You're on the right track. Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip it. You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No, an abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
This man will never sleep again. The ululations of the limbic system have ended. All is quiet. The lieutenant answers with the sound. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin.
Can you get to it?
The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
You push your hand further in. Whatever is in there keeps rolling between your fingers as you beckon it to come. Out comes his small folding knife. The lieutenant moves its blade across the...
Withdraw your hand 4 centimeters, please.
With a crack, he punches the knife in the skull. Then, one more time, and one more, until the bone comes loose, like eggshell.
Can you push it out? A bullet. Unknown caliber. Rifled. You may remove your hand from the victim's head now, officer. Well done. Here is your prize. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, high velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound? Opinion, fatal injury. And one last thing. We should amend injury number 3. Ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this. I did not just come up with this. I have had my doubts since we found no signs of struggle on his wrist. No claw marks on his neck. Why? There have been other signs too. Small details. Everything is too neatly designed for us to assign probable cause here, as we did, full-heartedly. What?
We almost fell for it. There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it does not explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy. That's for us to find out. But this, to hide something. The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here? Yes, we should take a closer look at it.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day. Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs... I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Grit.
The word lingers in the air of the basement. Far away, detective.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him.